Hi everyone, I decided today that I want to try to crochet with things that aren't yarn, and I thought about burlap threads. The idea came to me when I was looking through my things and I saw those balls of thread around, and I was like, those would make great baskets. And I'm really needing some baskets to organize my makeup, so I figured why not trying it. This is not exactly a detailed tutorial, so if you are a very beginner crochet artist, I don't think this video will be very helpful for you. But if you are like mediocre crochet artist or or a professional one, I feel like this video will be valuable and will give you good advice if you want to make a basket out of burlap threads. So basically, to start making the basket, I started by creating a circle. You could do the magic circle, but I don't prefer it honestly, and I started with a circle of chains. My goal here is to create a base in the shape of a circle and then build length to it, and thus this is a basket. It's a very basic project. To do that, I started with creating 5 single stitches in the center of my chain circle. I tried making it with double crochet stitch, but I hated the result, so I think single stitch would be the best with burlap threads. For row 2, it's easy, just make an increase stitch in every already existing single stitch, which means you will end up with 10. Make sure to mark your first stitch in this project because counting stitches in burlap thread was very hard, and losing count mid-project, which happened with me, would ruin it for you, and you may need to start from the very beginning or make some mistakes and go with it. It is also important to note that I was working only in the back loop throughout making the flat circle, which will be the base of the basket, and that because burlap thread is now stretchy and it's hard to maneuver, so working with just the back loop only allowed me more to achieve more flat circle. When I worked with the 2 chains and not the back loop one, I started curving very early and it was hard to have a flat base. And just like any other circle that we do crochet, in the 3rd row you will start increasing in the first stitch and then 1 single stitch on the other, and you go with this pattern the whole row. So increase single stitch, increase single stitch. It also may be informative for you to know that getting a bigger hook won't help that much, because I tried using the same thread with a bigger hook to achieve more flat surface, but it didn't happen, and it's still curved. So I would recommend just experimenting with different hooks until you have like a shape and size that you like. So even if you looked and you felt like my hook is small and that why the thread keep slipping, it's not exactly the case. The thread is just hard to work with and it's not stretchy, that why it keeps slipping, but I in fact found this size of a hook to be better. I think I'm working with a 3.5 hook. Here you can see me trying to stretch it so it doesn't crop up, and I struggled with that a lot, and I thought that stretching it helped a lot, but I'm not sure. In general, at the end it turned out okay, so if you saw some wrapping, I would say that it's natural with this thread. And now we are in row 4, and like I said before, you are making a normal circle as you would do in any other project in crocheting. So now we'll start with a single stitch, increase, then single stitch. I also want to make sure that you know that how big the circle is, how big the base, thus how big the basket diameter wise. So you can stop at any point, but I think I stopped at the 6th row. I thought that it was the best size for me at the 6th row, but you can make it bigger, you can make it really small, you can make it however you want.
according to what you need it for. I also generally have a very relaxed tension. I don't have tight tension, and I think this is very important in this project, because if you were to have a tight tension in this project, it will be almost impossible to make it. With my very relaxed tension, I struggled with the grabbing the yarn, and you can see it now with the grabbing the yarn and making the stitches. On row 5, I continued what I was doing, just this time it's single stitch, then increase, then single stitch, and continue with this. So single stitch again, increase, and single stitch until you finish the row. And with this you will finish row 5. I think I stopped at row 6, and I want to remind you again that when I was working with the base, I was working with the back loop only. And with this we reached row 6, which we will do an increase and 3 single stitches in the 3 chains following the increase, and you go repeat this the whole round. For me, row 6 was enough. I thought the base of my basket was enough, but you can add another row, or you can make them just 5. It depends on how big you want your basket to be. And with this, we finished from the base of the basket, and we'll need to give it the body or the height of it. To do this, we will work a single stitch in every stitch, so no increases, nothing. However, we will work in the front loop only. This is the only row we will work in the front loop. We will do this to create a crease and make a definition between the base and the body, or the base and the height. So after row 7, we reworked just single stitches in every stitch, but just in the front loop. Now you will start working single stitches, normal single stitches in both loops, until you are happy with the height of your basket and how long it was. I wanted mine to be longer, but I ran out of burlap thread mid basket, so I made it into a smaller one, as you will see at the end. But in general, just how do you prefer your basket to be? Like, if you prefer it to be very long, then or very tall, you need to work, for example, 20 rows. If you want it to be small and just hold, for example, your key and small things, then just make it shorter. So it's just personal preference at this point. Here we almost reached the end, so you can see the height of the basket that I made. As I said, I made it a bit small. And of course, don't lose your stitch marker, because you're gonna secure it and stitch it, like slip stitch at the last stitch, ending with that your work. And you can wave it in like normal, just like normal crochet. So slip stitch at the last stitch, cut the yarn and wave it. And here I'm showing you some of the basket that I made. You can see that I added some finishing rows with yarn, normal yarn at the end, to give it a finishing touch. But that's it. That's the gist of it. See you soon.